like a bullet. A bullet on its own, you'd be like, this isn't going to kill anyone. But then you'd be
Throw it
surprised.
really hard.
Yeah, you throw it really hard.
Hey, welcome to episode 88. Well, nope. Let's try that again.
88.
88. Oh, we've gone back in time.
What were we talking about on 88?
Oh, no. Hey, welcome to episode 188 of Friend Seat Gamer. I'm here with Blake.
Hey.
And returning is Fabian.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
New Severn.
Yep. It's me.
How are you doing, guys?
Good. Pretty good.
Right? Yeah.
How you doing, Nick?
You know. I'm just tired, man. Kids.
Yep, kids.
Am I right?
Yep.
Am I right?
How's
Please tell me I'm right.
How's the new little one?
Oh, he's really sweet.
Yeah?
He's a little sweetie pie.
Yeah.
He doesn't wake me up at 7 a.m. He does wake his mother up multiple times.
Right.
Night, though. All right. Games, huh? Or should we jump into some comments?
Sure. Let's see. We got a few comments from last time.
Okay, this is from DJ Paragon. I'm still 100% with Nick with Elden Ring. This game. Another hilarious episode. Cheers, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Fully.
I like that the comment is just like, this game.
This game.
Yeah, this game.
I mean, that could really be interpreted multiple ways, but unless you read the first sentence, and then it can only be interpreted one way. But it could be this game. But it's really this game or
a
this
piece of
game.
work.
Fuwasan says, when Elden Ring came out, it felt like everyone loved it and praised it to no end. Meanwhile, I really disliked it, so hearing criticism of it is really cathartic. Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you to everybody who agrees with my absolutely 100% correct, airtight opinion.
Yep.
What a joy.
I think that's the definitive opinion on the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure your
on the
opinion.
Wiki, I'm quoted on the wiki.
Yeah.
I have been quoted on Wikipedia pages before.
What? No.
Yeah.
Because of IGN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually for games that nobody cares about. But it's still, you can look up my name on Wikipedia.
That's
and
cool.
You'll have some pages will come up. Bartosh says Warhammer and Warhammer 40k are separate universes. Boo!
Yep. They totally are. And it's so funny. Since we've talked about that, I've been getting a load of Warhammer lore videos like surfaced to me through the YouTube algorithm.
Yep.
Suspicious.
And I should have realized, it should have been clear that it's different because Warhammer 40k references our current modern Earth.
Really?
Yes, like humans are from Earth,
Okay.
and there's they talk about the ancient past of kingdom called America and Britannia and all these these things are talked about. So it's 100% our world, and I don't think
You don't think Warhammer is?
I don't think it's although on the the Warhammer Age of Sigmar map is very much like a Earth map with an Atlantis thing there. It's got all the continents are kind of in the similar kind of shape kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a
microwaved version of Earth.
yeah, like a microwave version, or you could be this is a prehistory sort of Earth, the kind of
they forgot how to draw maps.
yeah,
Or something.
yeah, I think so.
Sure. I'm a little bummed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think it's kind of cooler if it's fantasy that over time becomes.
It is kind of neat.
Sci-fi?
It's a cool idea. It's that same thing of oh man, what if Game of Thrones was in modern day? I find that interesting.
I mean, that's just politics.
Wouldn't there just be Wall Street?
Oh yeah.
Or just any world war.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there's dragons.
What
What if it's modern day, but there's dragons?
Have you
This
been
is why I really-
to Indonesia where there are dragons? Komodo dragons?
Oh yeah, you're right. This is what I really liked about that. Do you remember that pretty bad Will Smith movie on Netflix called Bright?
No.
It's set.
Oh, where he's an orc cop or something?
Yeah, it's set
Okay.
in modern day,
Uh-huh.
but there's fantasy creatures, so there's orcs and
Yeah.
things, and there was some Dark Lord thousands of years ago, and it's that alone is interesting to me, but just the way they did it,
Bad
so
execution.
so terrible.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the seed of that was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Aiden Sichi9327 says, Warhammer 4K walks a fine line between being totally self-aware and also making you want to die gloriously for the Emperor. Given the super different takes on Elden Ring / Soulsies games, I'm interested. What are all of your perfect games? What are the games that when you play a new game, you think, this is alright, but it's no blank? And why? What genre is the one that you enjoy the most for gaming? Cheers and great podcast as usual. Also, Blake, why? Perfect email. Thank you, Aiden Sichi. Do you guys have a perfect game?
Well, yours is Zelda, obviously.
I don't know. I need to think about it.
I don't think I have a perfect game.
Okay.
There's too many games these days that are just too good in each of their own genres. And every game should pull from different parts anyway to make something interesting.
Yeah.
I have games that I really like within genres, but I don't think there's any perfect game.
I would say, like, Portal is a pretty close to perfect game for what it is. Like, it is a really...
But is it your perfect
Yeah,
game?
that's the thing. Is it your perfect
When you
game?
think of every other game, do you think Portal?
No.
Yeah.
Because no game encompasses all games. But you could argue that there is probably, at least for me, I'd say there's probably a perfect game in some genres. Like, I think that Solitarica is a perfect, like, simple roguelike.
Yep.
Or simple roguelike. It is really polished. It is, but it has depth, and it's a really, really fun experience. I've been playing a game called Peglin.
Oh yeah,
which I really like. The more I play it, the more it grows on me. It is a Peggle / Pachinko roguelite. It's really,
what a mashup!
It's really fun. What's weird is now this is the third one I've seen. I've seen 3 now that are Pachinko roguelites.
That's pretty weird.
And in fact, there's one that called Ballionaire.
Oh yeah,
which is currently a demo in Steam Next Fest. And it is one where you build the Pachinko board.
Oh my god!
And it's a little bit like there is a game called Luck Be a Landlord.
Okay.
Which is a slot machine roguelite where you build the slot machine by putting little slot machine elements on it. But really, the lines don't really matter. It's more just about what's showing up and what's adjacent to what's in the corners, whatever else. And it's like kind of a quirky, fun thing. And then there's like a version of that with really weird, heavy monetization, which actually has some very cool gameplay elements, but is ruined by its weird, heavy monetization. But Ballionaire, similar philosophy of like you're building things, your adjacencies matter, combos matter, sort of these extra these tools on a separate layer that enhance everything matter. It's pretty fun. I don't know if I'll buy it because like the demo was fun, but not that deep.
I see. Yeah.
Anyway, Peglin actually has a lot of depth, and I really like it.
It's tough.
What's your perfect game, Blake? Tell me right now.
I don't have one.
We know what it is.
What, No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
It's not No Man's Sky. But
that is your sweetheart you always go back to.
I always go back to it. No Man's Sky.
Is it Civilization with no ending?
Yeah. I don't know, there's things in games that I really like that I've never seen a game fully do to like the extent that is like this is perfect to me. But like something like X4, I really like where you start off as just like one little guy in your little dinky ship, and you start off doing little missions, and you gradually get like
scales up.
Yeah, scales up, and then it scales up so much that you're just like running this like massive empire basically, and then it's
building
fleets and sending fleets out and doing all this stuff, and you start caring more about the global economy and all this
global
galactic economy and what factions are warring with other factions and like where the Xenon are and all this sort of stuff. And then it does it in such a organic, gradual way that you don't even realize, at least for me, I didn't even realize it was happening until I sort of like looked back and realized like, wait a minute, I haven't left the map screen in like 2 hours. Like, what?
There are some.
This is a different game to me now.
that game has some deep problems, so I can't call it a perfect game.
It's absolutely. It's definitely. I mean, we had a whole episode talking about its UI, and it's
a mess. Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything.
No,
and the things it does tell you don't matter.
Yeah, I bet that it's probably my most Googled game of like how like
you got to wiki everything.
X4 how to, and then like just a million other things like that.
Yeah.
I will say that like that game has a wonderful sense of scales for those like that when you're first fighting like the Xenon massive the Z ship or whatever it's called Q or whatever. They're massive ships and you're in your little rinky dink thing and maybe it can't even target you because you're so small and you can kind of get into its blind spot and just sort of sit there and camp out and collect stuff.
Yeah.
I would love that game again. I would love that game or something like it in VR. Like how Elite Dangerous is great. It's probably like one of the best VR games. It's just a shame that there's like nothing to do in that game. You're just like a space trucker. That's it. But that nailed because it's in VR. You really feel that scale. You know, you can really feel it. And when the best thing in Elite Dangerous is just flying into one of the space stations and docking, and you're like, this is the whole game. And I did that for hours and hours just because it was like there was so much like awe and wonder and like. But something like that for an X4 type game where there's like a really good economy that you can like actually you can actually like mess with and you have like a massive impact on that whole world.
I want randomness in X4. I want like a random starting state. Like a random sort of map build layout kind of thing. I want like I don't know. I want less predictable conflicts and
I agree. When I first played it, I just assumed the map was random every time. I didn't actually realize it wasn't.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, oh, of course it's going to be random, but it's not.
I also want maybe a little bit more narrative breadcrumbing for those early elements in particular.
Some of the newer expansions, they're really good with that.
Yeah.
But depending on your start,
yes, almost.
You're just like left in the middle of space going, all right.
Here's your ship. Go off and do it.
And like Paul was complaining, it's like, okay, we need you take a mission. We need you to go in this space station. We're not going to tell you where it is, how far away it is, what it looks like.
You know what that sounds like? Morrowind.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not
no,
true.
But Morrowind has
Morrowind
roads.
will tell you specific directions to get to places. They'll be
will.
like, take the second fork, look for the tallest spire, head north, and then look out for the dead Guar or whatever.
There's road signs as well. You look on the thing and go, oh, there's the town I'm heading to. It's down this road.
In X4, it's like you have to scan the area, and then a bunch of question marks come up, and you just like go check all the question marks.
Yeah.
I would also the other thing I really want in X4 is dynamic politics.
Yeah.
Which it's the things like the factions are in conflict or not, and you know there's this whole thing where you take a zone. You know, I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
like it's the place where the story tells you to basically build your base.
Oh, the hub, I think it's or the
I forget what it's called.
Something like that.
But you go there, you build it, and there's like you get sort of a news update that's like another faction saying they better not be doing this, or else they're gonna regret it. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Yeah,
you can just take over that whole area. You can outlaw everything that everyone's selling. No one cares.
Yeah, it's like It's like I know that there are these factions that are technically at war with each other.
Yeah.
But I never really notice it because I'm always just friendly with all those factions.
I mean, I noticed it only because it was advantageous to me.
Yeah.
Like they're fighting, and I can just
sell them weapons.
Yeah. Or no, I can set a scrap ship there to like pick up stuff.
Yeah. That's
and then
point.
sell it.
Yeah.
And like that's the whole. That's the end point of my interaction with their conflict. Is, there's money to be made from it.
Yeah. Why is it easier in Mountain Blade has a similar thing, right? There are just factions that can be at war, be at peace, be at and it flips and changes.
Yes, they have dynamic politics,
and you're much more. I mean, maybe that is exactly what you're talking about, like because it tells you when stuff happens, right? Or you know.
Yeah.
Where X4, you're just like, they say it in dialogue, oh, you know, we're fighting against the like whatever they are. I can't remember.
I think there is a faction screen where you can see who's at odds with who. But again,
Isn't it? I mean, their UI. It's buried probably under several hidden tabs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll tell you, oh yeah, we're fighting these guys, but that never really seems to do anything. They never. I don't know if they ever take territory. I don't know.
In X4?
Yeah.
They do. Like you leave it running long enough, and sort of by virtue of the way the economy is shaped or whatever, some faction will probably start to seep into another faction's territory a little. But there's often a bit of a to and fro, and they don't. At least I've never seen anybody actually conquer. I've had the Xenon, like do quite a bit of damage to one of the areas. Yep. But even then, like they kind of get pushed back again, and then I don't know.
It's just a sort of endless back and forth.
Yeah.
That, I would like to. Be more dynamic.
It ends up feeling more just like a resource sink than a conflict.
Yeah, because I remember in like Mountain Blade, the first time I played it, I allied myself with I can't remember who it was. It was like the Purple Kingdom.
Yeah,
and they just were getting crushed.
Yeah,
and it was like a completely like desperate situation. And then in my next game, I allied with somebody else, but the Purple Kingdom didn't get crushed, and they started like dominating.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, and I love that in Mountain Blade, if you make your own faction and you start taking up too much space, people are like, "Oh, you gotta beat them down."
Yeah.
Right.
Like everyone's just kind of chill with you taking stuff in X4.
Yeah, they don't really seem to care.
No.
Yeah.
Fabian, perfect game.
Thinking about it, probably actually.
Yeah.
Yep. Monster Hunter.
Oh,
interesting.
Right.
Yep.
I've tried to get into Monster Hunter a couple times and I could not do it. It is too grindy for me.
It just, I don't know. It's just a game that just really clicked for me, eh?
Interesting.
Ages back.
Yeah.
I played, what was the first one I played? I played Monster Hunter on the PSP. I don't remember exactly which version that is. And it didn't quite click then. And then I played Monster Hunter 4U, or Generations. And that was where it was just like, oh, I've got it.
What was that click like? What was it that made you go, oh, now I get it?
Is it the combat?
I think it's when you finally, because there's like 14 weapons in the game, when you finally pick the weapon that just you really jive with, that's when it clicked for me. And at the time, my first weapon that really clicked for me was the Lance.
Okay.
And that's pretty much like my main weapon now in all Monster Hunters. That's my go-to. And that's like one of the least popular weapons as well. But yeah, that just really clicked for me. And I finally got the flow of the game and the combat. And I actually really like the grind. Like, I really like that each fight is kind of like its own little boss battle.
Yep.
And you go through. Yeah, probably like in each base game before expansions, I'll put 400, 500 hours into it easily.
That's too much for me.
Yeah. Like
when I hear that, I immediately go, I can't.
Yeah.
I actually really like that each fight is basically its own boss battle.
Yep.
My problem is when you beat that boss battle and it's like, awesome, I've done it. And now I have to do it 8 more times to actually upgrade my armor so I can do the next one.
That's the part that I love the most.
I hate that part because then it's like, now I'm going through the motions.
It gets faster and faster, though, every time.
But it doesn't matter.
You get better and better.
Yeah.
I guess, but the problem is that I've done it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you do it 2 or 3 times, sure. Or if it becomes like, you do it and then like 10 hours later in the game, you get to do it again, or you have to do it again, but you've advanced so much that you get that sense of progression.
Yeah.
That I don't mind. But it's like, you've done it, now do it back to back.
I think that's probably the problem that people find with Monster Hunter is when you're playing through the story, the campaign and stuff, you really shouldn't be trying to farm one monster. Maybe do it a couple of times to upgrade a couple of pieces and maybe a weapon, but you shouldn't be sitting there constantly farming it to unlock the stuff because you'll progress out of that gear really quick. The time when you really want to spend time refighting monsters is at endgame. And that's when you're actually building your sets and collecting items and all the other stuff. But that's what I like.
That's exactly what happened to me. I like burnt out on Monster Hunter World.
You will,
because I was just following the story, and it was good and it was fun. And then I started looking at like the armors that I could craft and being
Yep.
like, I want to get a whole set of this thing.
Yeah, because that's not always the best way getting the whole set.
Yeah, and then I just burnt myself out like
Yeah.
trying to fight this one monster
Yeah.
like over and over and over.
Usually just beat the monster once, see if you can craft anything, if you need any of the skills on that armor. If not, just go to the next fight.
Yeah,
Keep going forward.
I think that is the way to do it because it was way more fun when I was doing that.
Yeah, I just like learning the fights and learning all the different monster attacks and patterns.
I like that as well. And like any game that has a solid, difficult boss fight.
Yep.
That's the joy. I mean, as much as I love ripping into Elden Ring,
Yep.
there are some fights in there where that is
Yeah.
the sort of the cycle, and it can be satisfying.
Yep.
But then you do that same fight 7 more times.
Yeah.
Even in Elden Ring, even with like the stupid big, I forget what it's called. It's like the cystic root demon or something. It's a big white blob dragon with no wings,
Yep.
and it's dumb.
Yep.
And you do it like literally 7 times.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And the first time, it's like
Yeah.
the first time you are likely to encounter it is literally like the first dungeon.
Yeah.
You haven't even made it to the overworld. If you take the double key thing,
Oh right.
and you do the
find one
chariot
there.
thing, you fight this thing in a tiny room in the basement of this chariot chamber.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like anyway. I don't need to do another. We've had enough rants about this.
Yep.
Yep.
When is the next Monster Hunter coming out?
Well, we've got a beta next weekend. So that's pretty exciting.
Is it open beta?
Yep. Open beta
I might
for
get
the
in on
weekend. So it's from Friday until Monday, I think, for us.
dear.
Okay.
And
What's it
then
on?
Everything.
Steam?
Yep.
Haha, man.
Yeah, it's on everything.
I'm into it.
You can use a controller if you got a controller.
Yeah, I think I'll play with a controller because I really did enjoy Monster Hunter World, and I know I ruined it for myself.
Yep. Wilds is different.
Yeah,
It's like they're doing an actual open world.
yeah, that's
So
really
everything's like
interesting to me.
open, seamless transition between different areas. Monsters are just roaming around in packs and stuff.
Like
it's
it.
It looks way cooler.
Oh my god, yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yep. So that's happening next weekend, and then the game releases next year, February 28th, I think.
Cool. That's pretty soon.
Yep. So it'll be a week off for me.
Speaking of the game I've brought up a few times, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Yep.
It was originally going to launch on February 28th,
Ah.
and in the most recent trailer, they showed the launch date, and it's February 28th, and then a cutlass flies in from the side and knocks the 8 into a 1. Specifically because they don't want people to not buy it in favor of Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter's going to be a pretty big release.
especially in Japan.
jostling releases around for other releases is
You have
a
to.
funny
The game
thing.
could
Yeah.
really like
Oh,
take a
yeah.
hit.
They do it for movies as well.
Yep.
We've got a pretty long comment. This is from Amongolin. The crux of it is basically that he played Dark Souls single player and had a much better time than playing it online with the bloodstains and the clues.
Yep.
And that he's fine with missing out on things. That's fine.
It's good the options there.
Yes.
Their description made me really think like it does have a very different vibe of like you're just alone in this strange world, whereas
Yep.
like the online version, like some would say maybe the preferred way to play,
Yeah.
it feels way more communal. So it's like two very opposites.
Yeah. I feel like the online version is like playing with Twitter, just spewing snark at you the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know you can like the posts that people? Did
yeah.
you know that?
And
Yeah.
then they get health or something.
Yeah, it happened
They
to me
get
a
healed.
couple of times.
Yeah, I see. That's the wrong. Because the
a
problem
good game.
is the posts that get liked the most are either trolls.
Yeah.
Or
Finger butt hole.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, yeah.
memes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and that's.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
You didn't like any of the dog hair ones when you're
Is
trying to
this
find
dog?
the invisible
find a turtle.
Yeah. See that one without the without being online, that would have been insane.
Yeah,
Because
you're right.
I remember that's how I found it. Was
Yes.
like all these like messages on the ground around it.
Yeah. That would have been a really bad time, wouldn't
What
it?
a different game! It's like
What
a
a-
different game.
Okay.
It's not that different.
I feel like playing it offline
I'm
now.
trying not to rant. Trying not to rant. All right. Anyway, Mongolin also says he has a question. Do you play any automation/factory building games? I've spent 80 hours in Satisfactory since its 1.0 release on 10th of September and didn't finish a playthrough. Now getting ready for Factorio's DLC, probably another 100 hours gone before I even notice. Blake?
I have just started playing.
Just fell down the rabbit hole.
Just yesterday, started playing Satisfactory.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying this to Fabian yesterday. I played it in the morning. I started it at like 10, played it for a couple of hours, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting pretty hungry. Probably time for breakfast. Maybe it's close to lunch.
Yeah.
Looked at the time, 8 hours had passed. And I was like, damn, it's basically dinner time now. I should probably like get ready,
So
start
you're
thinking
saying
about
this
dinner.
is a diet strategy?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I bet I probably should start thinking about dinner now. And I was like, all right, I'll just do a couple extra things on here. I looked again, 6 more hours passed.
No.
I played that game for like 12 hours straight, basically. And then had dinner at like 11 p.m. last night.
No, you had breakfast at 11.
Yeah, I had breakfast at 11 p.m. last night.
Oh, boy.
I didn't realize it had hooked me this much. It really like...
It's nice of you to join us for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you guys leave, I've got some optimizations to make.
To be honest, I'm a little annoyed that you haven't started playing Yakuza yet.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Actually, I'm surprised you're not playing it right now during the podcast.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's running in the background.
It really like I've never played one of these factory games, which is funny that this is
alley.
That it's now it's a genre now.
Yeah.
It's like a factory game.
Yeah.
But I feel like it has some roots in survival games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's materials.
Yeah, it's all
It's all
materials.
materials and upgrades.
Yeah, it's all materials and upgrades and like, progressing through tech trees and getting more and more efficient at doing things.
I don't think it's my kind of game.
What I realized, it hooked me into did I ever talk about on the podcast when I was playing Valheim with some friends? I spent
made roads.
Yeah, I was making roads. Yeah, I was doing.
You're doing organizing.
Doing weird organizing
for your
stuff.
friends.
Yeah. And then I spent like 2 or 3 hours like organizing all our loot with labels and all this sort of stuff, and I was so satisfied by the end of it. And then the rest of the game was great, but like it like I got so much enjoyment just out of like organizing things, taking all this chaos, and organizing it. And I feel like that is the game.
So you spent 12 hours doing what you do at work.
Sort of. In a
Organizing
way.
things.
In a way.
We've covered on this podcast that Blake's favorite genre is management.
Yeah, it is.
So weird.
It is.
It's so weird that's it.
That's your genre.
It's so weird that this podcast is the thing that made me discover that.
I'm pretty sure I specifically
You
told
did
you at
specifically
lunch one
say that,
time.
and then I was like,
Blake, you know what
what?
kind of game you play?
Yeah. But yeah, it's great. Like I played through, like there's a tutorial, there's like this onboarding thing, and it was like very step by step, build one thing, build another thing, blah blah blah. And then gradually over a while, because it was just the tutorial and I was figuring stuff out, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I can see what I would have done better from the start, because my first factory is just like conveyor belts all over the place. Nothing is organized. It was really annoying me, and the amount of work to reorganize everything, I might as well just start again.
Okay.
And so I started again, and like starting from starting from a point where, okay, you know a little bit of like what's to come. You're like building in you're future-proofing stuff.
Yes.
So you put down like a miner, but you make enough space in front of that miner for if you want to add in extra smelters.
Yep.
So you just put down one smelter to begin with, then a constructor that builds that thing into something else. But you're spacing stuff out and adding in basically intersections in the
You're basically leaving room to grow.
Yeah, leaving room to grow. So like I'm slowly doing that sort of thing, and like getting it all running like efficiently, or as efficiently as I can, is like such a good feeling. and then at some point later on, I'm looking at like what I've got, and I'm like, I'm sure I can get stuff running even better, and it's just this constant like striving for more and more efficiency.
Trying to make it satisfactory.
It's really fun.
So optimization in that game, you're not optimizing the fun out of it. You're optimizing the fun into
the
it.
chase, it's chasing optimization. I don't know what the end is, because the goal is just like you're working for this like colonization sort of like resource gathering corporation or something.
Yeah.
That goes down on planets and exploits the resources, and I think sends them back up into space.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the actual end result is. Like, I've not sent any. I've gotten to the first sort of major milestone, which is like building a space elevator, and then I need to build a thing like enough of a specific, like a specific component to send to the space elevator to go up into space, and then and I basically hit that. Like, that's the progression gate now. Like, I can't actually get any more upgrades until I do that.
Sure.
So now I'm trying to build this thing the best way I can, using it takes like a multiple of parts and funnels them down into one thing, and so I have to like figure out the best way to do that without disrupting my current output of some of those components, because I still need a bunch of those components individually, so I can't funnel them all into making this thing. Otherwise, I have none of the other stuff which I still need. Yeah. So it's all figuring stuff out and planning, trying to plan ahead. Like,
I can see how you lost 12 hours.
Yeah, it just disappeared.
Yep. Sounds like a nightmare.
And it's
I'll be honest.
It's on like an alien world that I've like kind of gone around and explored a little bit, and there's like caves and creatures that will attack you, and different biomes that I can't reach yet. I found a biome that was like all like purple plants and stuff like that, with like that was I was using a radar to scan for quartz because I needed quartz. There's a whole like research stuff as well, and one of the research paths was to do with quartz. So I was like looking for quartz, and it said that there's quartz in this thing, but this thing is like full of monsters that shoot fireballs at you, and like I was like, I'm not going in there yet. And this cave I just found, I was like, oh, what's in here? And there's like glowing mushrooms, and then there's like these spider things come attacking you.
How do you fight the monsters and stuff?
Well, I've got this little I've got a taser,
right?
and you just tase stuff.
So your company sent you down to this planet to build this
with a taser.
Massive factory
on a hostile alien world.
Here, take the stick with you.
Yeah, hostile alien world that they actually say they know nothing about.
We don't know what's down there. You better bring protection. Here's a stick.
Yeah. But I did look it up, and I can get guns.
Okay.
I don't know how.
You might disrupt your factory doing that.
Yeah, no, I don't know when I get them, but I can get guns. So.
I assume you build it.
Yeah. You can get vehicles as well. I don't know when.
So I did actually run around in it. It's not like a top-down.
Oh no, yeah, you run around as first person. It's totally
like,
first
person Factorio. Almost.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because I've only seen Factorio.
Yeah. No, it's first person. It has it starts off like, if you didn't know what this game was, you would be like, oh, this just looks like some survival game,
right?
Because you can run around and you're like clicking on bushes to get the leaves and twigs and sticks and stuff like that,
right?
Which is such a survival game.
It's so silly that this presumably very powerful corporation sends you down to a planet and is like, you have to start researching.
Yeah, start from the primitive ages.
I need you to send thousands of components up to me. Start with some sticks.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing where I need the sticks. I need the sticks to create fuel. This highly advanced thing basically is still processing sticks and wood into energy.
Okay.
And there's several steps. There's several steps to make the fuel more
We're
efficient.
not going to send solar power.
No solar power. There's several steps to make the fuel more efficient, and I'm really happy with how I've like set up my sort of area that is the power generator, where I've got like the power, like all buildings need power.
Yeah.
So I've got all these power things connected to
the stick generator,
basically the grid, but I've set it up so the processing unit that creates the fuel is powered by the power stations as well. So it's like this like big loop that I put the first resource in, which is just sticks and leaves.
Yeah.
And
then
it creates the fuel that is then distributed to the power generators, and the power is given back to the thing that is.
So how much of this game is like going around and just collecting things?
Early on, there's a little bit of that, but it's not. You start off like, so if you start with the actual tutorial, you're going around and collecting stuff. It's like you start off being like, they say like, oh, scan for iron, and it's like, here's some iron. Walk over there, hit the iron thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like a survival game.
Yeah.
You click on the resource, you gather it just like you would in like a survival game.
Yep.
Then there's a thing that says, oh, now you can access this and you can build this. But and then it does it very step by step.
Yeah.
If you skip the tutorial, they just give you a load of resources to begin with, and you skip over this like multiple hours worth of like tutorial.
Okay.
And so you are put down straight away. You just like find a good spot, and you have enough stuff to just build everything you need for the first sort of like tier of buildings.
But
Right.
do you have to constantly keep finding sticks to fuel your
This
thing?
is a bottleneck that I'm currently trying to deal with. Is to keep my power going. I do need to do basically like a stick run and just like run around.
That sucks.
Collecting all these sticks. They last for ages though. Like the fuel. Because
I don't want to do it at all.
I'll put them in my like storage thing, and they get like sent to the constructor that turns them into like better fuel that then turns it into like even better fuel. There's like a whole chain thing. But
you
still, every once in a while, I
sticks.
do have to run around
Pick up sticks.
collecting sticks. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Is there a
know.
way
I
to
can-
facilitate
There's
that?
I can get a chainsaw that will make it faster. But
Why can't you just grow trees
I don't
and then
know.
have something that harvests the trees?
Is
I
your-
mean, maybe at some point.
your auto stick-
I'm literally in the very early stages.
The
here.
very early stages of the 12-hour playthrough.
Yes,
you've done.
yes. That 12 hours has gotten me, I think, to I can't remember how many tiers there are.
The problem,
Like I'm on like the third. I've finished the third tier of I've got access to the third tier of like buildings and resources that I can make. I can't remember how many there are, but the third is definitely not even halfway. It's like maybe quarter of the way.
I'm having a couple problems here. One is I do not want to be collecting sticks for 12
It's
hours.
not that. It's no. You're not like
The other part of this
Yeah.
is I'm struggling because I have been playing TCG Card Shop Simulator
for 12 hours.
more than that.
Yeah.
And most of what I do is just open packs of cards. so I don't. I'm in a bit of a glass house here,
You'd kind of want it to be
and I can't be
collect
throwing
sticks.
sticks.
You want to collect sticks at the start and then have somewhere to generate that automatically very quickly, right?
Yeah.
So you can move on.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then look for other new
The
resources.
sticks are basically the only thing that I manually have to find myself at this point. Everything else is, I find a resource node, I put down a miner, that sort of thing, and everything is automated except for the fuel I need to run the whole thing.
I get so annoyed in TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Yeah.
When my employee leaves at 9 p.m. and then a customer walks up to the counter and I have to scan the items myself.
Oh my
Welcome to retail.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had 10 years of that.
I worked in a bookstore. I get it.
Oh, wow.
I don't want busy work like that
It's
in a
not
game.
like it's actually not so bad because you very quickly like my gathering thing takes a couple of minutes and I gather enough stuff that will last like ages.
Is
a long,
it fun?
long
Is
time.
the gathering fun?
Not really.
Yeah, that's the
I
problem.
usually do it when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for an explore, and I'll
Yeah.
just explore around and just press E constantly to gather as I'm going,
Ugh.
and I end up with
Ugh.
like 1,000 like sticks and leaves, and I just put that in this like storage container that just sends it off, and it'll run for like hours by its. Like,
You keep saying that, but you're also you kind of brush past the part where you're walking around mashing E to
Yeah.
get 1,000 sticks and leaves.
Yep,
Blake.
yep.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, sure, but like here's the thing: is that I have not. Like I said, I'm only at the very beginnings of this. I am assuming I am going to get
Can I-
access to something that then generates power for me, so I don't have to keep going around.
I want to pitch you a better version of this,
Yeah.
which is it's not sticks and leaves. It is some fuel crystal, and you only need one.
Yeah,
And they are hidden in interesting places.
sure.
And so it is an incentive to explore.
yeah,
And it also
Well,
forced exploration
there
at the same
is-
time to keep the thing running.
there are like fuel. There is that. You find these glowing slugs, and through research, you are able to turn those slugs into like a battery thing. That can be
slug battery.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they're cool. Like
Imagine, my Game Boy's run out. Let me just pop the slug in the back.
slug in, yeah. Because it's like this big glowing thing, and you're like, what the heck is this thing? And then you build a like research thing, and you like
Crystallize the
you
slug.
research it, yeah, and it's got this whole like little like codex kind of thing
Sure.
that talks
Then why
to
are
you
you still
about it
collecting
and
sticks?
stuff like that. Because those slugs are so rare.
So that's a problem. Like, okay, imagine here's a version that I think is cool. The power crystals don't run out of power.
Yeah.
But it caps the amount, like the size of the chain of
Sure.
actions you can perform.
Yeah, yeah.
And so each additional thing ups the cap.
Yep.
And so like the more you explore, the more crystals or
Yep.
slugs or whatever it is you find, and then the bigger the factory can get up to a cap.
Yep.
You're still doing the exploration, but it's not busy work anymore, and it's not just retracing your steps.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree that like this collecting sticks thing is like, man, I can't wait till I don't need to do this.
Are you sure that you will never need to do it?
I don't
feel
know.
like maybe you missed something early, and there was a better way to do.
there's
It's like a little Roomba that comes
Yeah.
around and
Yeah.
picks up sticks.
I've got everything. There's nothing I can find.
Make an
that's
oil
like-
well, boom, fuel.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
But
Something like
there's
that.
there's no buildings or anything like that.
Maybe that's what your space
Maybe
station's
maybe
for.
I just need to explore around a load more. But
in TCG Card Shop Simulator, there's a job that I found really annoying, and that was
Opening
spraying
cards.
stinky people with
Yeah,
deodorant.
I remember that.
They kept coming into my store and stinking the place up. I'd see people going, "Oh, it stinks in here," and
Yep.
walking out, and I'd have to buy deodorant and spray these people, and it would take all day. My whole day.
What a weird thing to do.
My whole day was spraying stinkers, and then I discovered that you can buy an auto sprayer, and so I did that, and then I discovered that the auto sprayer only removes half the stink from a person. So I had to buy 2 auto sprayers, and I tried to position them in the shop so that they would get sprayed as they're like walking around. No, I had to put them right next to each other, right at the entrance.
Just everyone gets blasted.
That's exactly what happens. The problem is if like 2 stinkers walk through like back to back, one's gonna slip through. They're still gonna stink.
Oh,
up the shop.
you need
and I have to keep the thing restocked with stink spray.
Yep.
You need a decontamination unit.
Yeah, you need an airlock.
I have automated like restocking the shelves. I have automated
Yep.
the actual counter, like the checkout rather. Except for after 9 p.m. when my nerd leaves and I have to do the checkout myself.
Hey man, those are union hours. What are you union
No, I
busting
don't-
over here?
you know
What's
what?
going on?
I wish I could complain. The thing is, the AI will stay there
Yeah.
if there's a queue.
Yeah.
But if the queue breaks for even
He's
half
like,
a second,
"I'm out."
he's like, I'm going home. And then the next guy walks up the counter and we'll stand there until the end of time. And, but my point is that, like, there are... I do not like these kinds of busy work. But also, I argue against myself because if I take these elements out,
What are you doing?
my interactions are opening card packs and buying stock.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like we
So
were
the-
just suggesting this before, where you like
the
optimize
challenge-
the fun out of
Yeah.
out of things. Like if
The challenge is to make sure that the busy work pushes players in interesting new ways.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it is forcing me to go out and explore.
You can't
Right.
go back to old places and find sticks and leaves.
Yeah, sure, but
There
I
you
mean,
go.
it's still better to. I still would rather just like explore. Since I'm going out and collecting stuff, I might as well go somewhere I've not been before and see what's out there.
Yep.
But here's the thing: like, I'll tell you later in the week, man, if I discover like that there was
But
a better
totally
power
right.
station.
You're totally right. But I'm coming back to this. You're 12 hours in.
Yep.
Yeah, still picking up sticks.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
But the sticks are getting processed into like fuel.
You keep
Like
saying that
fuel
like that
pellets.
matters. You're still picking up sticks.
I'm still picking up sticks.
but you don't get it. It's turning into hydrogen fuel.
Yeah, you
I
don't-
do get it.
You don't get it, and I've got it like distributing to all the like power stations, and then
great,
the power's
that's
feeding back
cool,
into the
cool,
things
cool,
that are like
cool,
making the
cool,
fuel.
cool.
It's like
And how often do you pick up sticks?
I don't know, once every couple of hours. Not that often. Not that often. That 1,000 sticks run I did was like I went
Oh,
up.
just a couple hours. I'm only doing once every couple hours, but I am doing it for 2 hours.
Yeah, but I did just like explore all the way around and got lost in some jungle area and saw some different resources. It was cool. It's great.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're having fun.
I'm like really, really enjoying it.
You can't beat the first playthrough of a game, eh?
But this is your second playthrough, right?
Wow, I mean, this is I've gone past where like the funny thing is like that first playthrough was like the first like 8 hours, and that was like the tutorial.
You're fumbling through it, and then you realize actually I need.
And
to
then
do better.
within like a couple hours of my second playthrough, I was like further than I was after that 8. You know, so it's that sort of thing.
There's a developer called Kairosoft, and they make lots and lots and lots of mobile games, and they're all kind of the same game ultimately. And I really liked them for a long time, but they had this same pattern where it's like the first time you play it, you're kind of fumbling through. You may be fumbling through for like 5 hours, and then you're like, I've been screwing this up the whole time. I restart, and within an hour, you're way more efficient.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that, I mean, I guess because I know a little bit more about the game, but I'm assuming that I'm going to unlock stuff at some point and like
want to restart again,
screw up the whole like system again, and be like, oh man, should I restart again? I don't know. I've only the second playthrough, I only discovered that I could have so the conveyor belts you have, I thought they were just locked to the ground. I thought you'd have to unlock something to like have them raised up. Okay. You can just raise them up from the start. And I didn't even know that.
Does that matter?
Yes.
You put stuff under it.
Massively.
Okay.
Gives a place for sticks to grow.
Yeah. And now I'm like, man, should I start again and just have everything raised up because all my conveyor belts are ground level.
Can you not
so when I'm running across my factory, I'm jumping over these hurdles that are like the I mean, I can change it all now, but I'm like, it's so much work. I might just leave it.
Yeah.
It's all running fine. I might just leave it. It's fine. Maybe I will make walkways for myself that go above because I can make scaffolding and stuff like that.
Yep. So you mentioned there's kind of an in-depth tutorial.
Yep.
It takes you step by step.
Yeah.
Presumably, you're playing through it, and with each step, your understanding of how the game works grows.
Yes.
Yep. Let me tell you about a game that has the opposite effect.
Oh, yeah.
Age of Empires Mobile.
Oh.
This came out within the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited when I saw that there was an Age of Empires Mobile because I loved Age of Empires. And I play games on my mobile.
Yep.
And I was thinking, this sounds like it could be really fun.
2 things that you like.
And the graphics are beautiful.
Yeah.
There's voice acting, good animations. Horrible game.
Oh.
What makes it horrible?
Well, the game starts off with like, I guess your village gets overrun or something. I don't really know. The story's a bit nonsense.
Yep.
But you're like a little princess on a horse, and you got some armed guards, and your armed guard gets killed, and you have to you build a little hut, and you get some villagers, and this is all kind of happening on sort of it kind of feels like it's happening on rails.
Yep.
You're dragging your character through just sort of down a path. You do some combat, and then you get sort of, for some reason, she keeps talking about this important sword. It's like a magical sword or something, sort of Destiny kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you fight a guy, you capture a town, and then the game just becomes, I guess, following what the little tutorial window was telling you to do without any explanation of what it means.
Right.
Yeah.
So that first 5-10 minutes of the game, you're learning. Okay, this is how I move my character. Got it. This is how I start combat. Got it. And then you build your town, and then it's like, build 2 houses, build a lumber camp, build this thing, upgrade this to level 3, upgrade this to level 3, upgrade your character to level 5.
Yeah.
And you get rewards at each step, and you don't really know why you're doing any of this.
Oh, is it just telling you to do it?
Yeah,
so
right.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then it's like, go do a challenge island. I don't know what a challenge island is. I go there, and it's like a little grid. And as far as I can tell, this is actually the meat of the game. It's more like an auto tactics game where you place your units down, and then the units will fight enemy units.
Oh, I know what you
and
mean.
then you
yeah,
win.
yeah.
Right?
They charge at each other?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then it goes back to your town, and you do the same thing again.
Doesn't sound very Age of Empires.
It doesn't. It's not Age of Empires. In fact, the first 5 minutes of the game makes you think it's going to be Age of Empires because you have a unit that you're dragging around into conflict.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a typical mobile idle resource collection upgrade mechanic fest. And there are so many different currencies and resources. There's a gotcha system for these heroes.
Right.
It is rough, guys.
That's a sign out for me right there.
It is beautiful looking, and then it is just layers and layers of obfuscation to get you into monetization.
Do you think underneath it's another game that has just been Age of Empire on top?
That's a good question. I know it's not developed by it's not Microsoft Studios who made this. It's like I think it's Timmy.
Okay,
it's a maybe Chinese developer.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's very possible.
Be interesting to look up their other games and see how similar they are.
Yeah, I don't know. It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you do choose an empire at some point, and I've seen references to like things happening, quote unquote, in the world versus like on challenge islands.
Right.
I haven't seen any evidence of this. My guess is it's probably more like a Clash of Clans thing where it's like you have a base and your opponent has a base, and you can send your troops to their base. And it automatically happens.
Get resources.
Yeah, that's my guess.
But if it's got a gacha system, it wants your money.
But it's just a bummer because it's not. None of it feels like Age of Empires. It looks a little bit like Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Like the town center looks like Age of Empires. The buildings look like Age of Empires. You collect meat.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the mill produces meat. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, grinds
the grass into meat.
Grinds those bones to make their bread. That's what they do.
Yeah, right. I'm playing as the giant faction. And Jack keeps raiding me.
Yep. We're stealing your golden goose.
My eggs. But man, what a bummer. Because like, and also just what I've played a lot of games like this, and I have a real fierce hate of this. This sort of tutorialization where it's like, here are the things you need to do, and not why to do them.
Yeah.
And not what you're achieving by doing them.
This is it's cool that you bring that up because that is a main thing in mobile games that the few mobile games I play, I'm just like. When you're just clicking through these like
just tab and windows,
prompts, that you're doing stuff and you don't know why you're doing it, and
then it's rewarding you at every step.
Yeah,
like, you did it. Here's 1,000 more things.
Yeah,
what do I do with these 1,000 things?
Yeah.
But like to contrast that, a game I also just recently started playing. It's called Scourgebringer. Another mobile game, has a very short tutorial at the start. It's like an action roguelike. It's like a platformer. You jump around, you attack things. What I really like about this game is combat is automatic. So you jump onto an enemy and your character just starts attacking that enemy, slashing it around, and you can jump away. You can use sort of a smash attack manually. There's like a gun thing that the character will auto aim at like sort of enemies around the room and shoot at them. But otherwise, all of like what I would call sort of reaction based or like timing based elements are kind of automatic, which is great because what I care about more in a game like this is mobility, and it puts a lot of emphasis on mobility. And it's really fun. There's an interesting upgrade system. It feels a little bit like other roguelikes I played, but like it feels really good. It looks really good. Beautiful art style. Short tutorial where it teaches you what you're doing and why you're doing it. Perfect. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. Other than like TCG Shop Simulator, Yakuza.
That's funny.
I don't really play any mobile games.
Why?
I got a PC. Don't want to play on a little screen.
Yeah.
There are some. Hang on. Both of you shut your yaps. There are some games that are way better on mobile.
Like?
For example, Peglin, I would say.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can't play that one on PC.
Well, you can.
Actually, you can. It's just
boring.
feels like it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Solitarica was a game that came out on Steam before it came out on mobile, and I cannot imagine playing that game on Steam versus mobile. It is perfect for mobile.
Yeah.
There are games where like the gameplay is simple, not like reactive. It doesn't require ultra precise button presses. It just requires some thought and maybe some like a tap or two. And if I were to play that on PC, I would probably be bored. But on mobile, it's like I can do a few turns, or I'm lying in bed and it's like a fun low energy thing that still engages my brain. So
I get it. It's situational. It's lifestyle. It's like if it fits into your lifestyle, and it doesn't fit into mind so much and.
Yeah, it's situational, and I never have a situation for it.
I never have a situation.
I defy you both to get Peglin and tell me that that's not a great game.
All right, I'll give it a go.
You're not gonna give it.
I won't.
You haven't played. You haven't even played Yakuza.
No, I haven't.
I won't play Peglin. I trust you, but I won't play Peglin.
I mean, I have. Okay, so there is a Polytopia.
Yep.
That is like the only mobile game that I really got into, and I played it a lot when I was traveling on the bus because I used to travel to see family, and stuff, and it would be like a 2 or 3 hour bus ride sometimes. Great game.
That's a pretty good one.
I used to play on the train to work. I could usually get like one full game in on the way to work. It was great. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's like Civ.
Yeah,
but really simplified.
It's like a super stripped down, like core, got to it, the core of Civ kind of thing.
Yep,
it's good. It was a good game. Still got it installed.
Well, I'm very curious. Like, what?
Blake just does that.
What?
What is the last game you played on your phone?
Polytopia.
What is the last
got in a game on the train?
I played on my phone. I went through a phase not too long, maybe a year or two ago, of downloading text adventures.
Well, it's so interesting you mention that because I have a game on here that is a compilation of game books.
Is it
feels
the
like
fighting fantasy one?
No.
Is it the Lone Wolf ones?
No.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
click on it. Delight
Goosebumps.
Games. There's one called Wizard's Choice, 6 books. There's Rogue's Choice. There's, oh my gosh.
I don't even think I own a
Demon's
game.
Choice.
Are they made by Tin Man
Ranger's
Games?
Choice? I don't know, man. I downloaded it because it was free for me.
Yeah, I was playing. Actually, the Lone Wolf has a good series on there. That Lone Wolf was a fighting fantasy, or a game book.
I'm just
series.
I want to show you look at the picture in the middle there.
What the hell? What is that? A baby?
It looks like a baby running away from a helicopter. Zombie High 9.
I don't know about
That's like
those.
some AI.
I don't know that it is AI, but it might. I mean, I don't think it is. My understanding is that these are game books that were printed that they've just ported over to.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a good. It translates really well. Because I played. I was playing the Lone Wolf ones for a little bit, and I played some of the fighting fantasy ones. And they do have this whole thing like you have an app that is basically acts as a library of all these.
Yep.
Like you open it up and it's like here's all the ones you own. Here's all the ones that you don't own. You know, it's very cool. I like it. But then they're also like, is that a mobile game? I guess technically, but like I played them when they were a book form. So,
but this comes back to my argument that you can have it on a different platform and it's worse.
Yeah, you're not going to play it on Steam, are you?
yeah, that's true. Although, actually,
You did.
hold on a
You
minute.
did.
Hold on, here's the game.
We did talk about.
Yeah.
I talked about
you
Fabled
did.
Lands,
Yeah.
which is a game book port that I was playing on PC.
Would you have preferred it on mobile?
I thought that originally, but like after playing it, it's like nah, not really, because there's a lot of like inventory management that is just like I guess easier on PC. But
Why do you
if
say that?
if they'd made it for mobile,
Yeah.
then I would just play it on mobile, and maybe it would be
Play in bed, right?
Yeah, maybe
Doesn't
I
that
would
sound like
have
a much better time?
maybe.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, yeah. I
uh-huh.
mean, yes, you might be right, but also, I don't know. It was just good on PC. I don't know, man.
I will win you over. I will win both of you over. You will play a game on your phone.
There was a game maybe like 10 years ago called Round the World in 80 Days.
Yeah, I remember that. We played it.
I really enjoyed that on my, and that was a mobile
You like
game.
really story-heavy games
on
your
mobile.
phone.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
You like to read.
I do read. Yeah,
Like a nerd.
yeah,
like a nerd would.
like a nerd.
Go home at 9.
Get a load of the nerd. Speaking of text adventure games, I'll talk about this a little bit, but I haven't played it for like 2 weeks since we last did the podcast. But there's a text adventure called Vargas the Riven Realms.
Yeah.
That I was playing, and this game, like, it is 100% made, is 100% not based on anything as far as I know. So it's like 100% made for PC.
Yep.
I think it was a Kickstarter originally, but it's like absolutely taking its like roots from all those game books. Like
Yep.
absolutely, like you even present a book like the UI is even a book, and you have like you go into a town and there's a picture of the town on one screen. There's a description and then a bunch of like options for you to like click on.
Yep.
And then the page turns and you go to the next thing when you click on stuff, and there's just like it's presented exactly like a game book, but it's its own thing completely. It's a lot of fun. But like
but it's not early access, so you're not.
it's not early access anymore. It's a lot of fun, but like it is a game where I feel like because it's so much reading and because it's like you have to really. It has a sort of survival element to it, so you have to really pay attention to your choices. You can't just like randomly click through things.
Yeah. It's not a chill, relax.
It's
game.
not a chill, relax game. I feel that I need to dedicate a certain amount of time to it, and so, like the last few weeks after work, I've not felt like being like that dedicated to a game like that. But it is super fun. So I'm probably thinking when I get like more time where maybe in the Christmas holidays or something that I don't have any.
Do you really think you'll be able to put down Satisfactory before then?
I think I will. I think I'll get to a point with Satisfactory where I'm satisfied.
See what you did there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to try and at least get to. I want to see where it goes because, you talk about like games that how I don't have a goal.
Yeah.
This game, I don't know what the goal is. Like I mean,
and yet
but I keep playing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm chasing that
Trying to find the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm following as you progress through the tiers of upgrades and things. It basically it gives you like missions to do. So this like when I built that space elevator, it's like, okay, now you need to build this specific resource and send it to the space elevator to go up.
Yeah.
That's a story thing. Like, I don't know what that does. That doesn't, like, it's just sending something, off planet. So it's no actual benefit to me. So it's, like, definitely, like, some progression thing.
Gives you just enough crumbs to keep you going.
Yeah, it's keeping me going.
You another stick.
Yeah.
I've got so many thousands of sticks and leaves to...
Well, I mean, or another taser,
I really want a gun.
Yeah.
And I really want a vehicle.
It'll probably be something like that.
I did a thing where I Googled it just to see if it's there, but not how to not how to get it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like Satisfactory gun, and then it's like oh, you get access to these guns. And I was like, that's enough. That's enough. I just want to know that it's there.
Yep.
I don't need to know how you get it.
You have to mod the game.
yeah. Oh, that was a mod that I was looking at.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're pretty much out of time. Thanks again, Fabian,
You're welcome.
for being here. Blake, thanks as always.
Yep.
If you've got questions, you can email frenzyquestions@gmail.com. You can also leave comments on our YouTube page. Do we even check Facebook?
Yeah.
Then also Facebook. Definitely Facebook. Of course we check Facebook. What am I talking about?
Only Robert ever posts on Facebook, or family members of mine like the page.
Yeah, I do see that. It's nice of
YouTube
them.
is where it's at.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where the party's at.
That's where the party's at.
So come party with us on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll see you down in the comments section, baby.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in a couple weeks, where I'm sure we're going to talk about probably the same games again. That seems to be how it works. Elden Ring? Yeah, probably Elden Ring.
I
Zelda.
haven't heard your thoughts this week on Elden Ring. I wonder if they've changed.
Well, I love it now. I love how bad it feels
Guys,
to
it
play.
just clicked. It all clicked for me.
I love how clumsy it feels. I like that.
All right.
All right. Bye.
I used to play RTS, but like I think StarCraft. I feel like I saw the Matrix code, and I don't like it. Like it's
the illusion was broken.
You know the problem is when you play an RTS and all you care about is build orders, you'll build orders and you like do this at this time and like timing and all like everything is so highly calculated down that like if
you've optimized the fun out of it.
Yeah, you've fun to get optimized out of it, and then if you make a mistake, you're like, well, that's the whole match. Now I might as well just like restart because I didn't move my one probe over here when I should have. that just like broke me for like a lot of RTS games. I just want. This is why I like probably grand strategy games more.
Well, we can talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think I have thoughts on that as well. I think that any game, when you take it to a competitive online scene, becomes significantly less fun.
Yeah.
That's like that Dragon Ball game. People play that online, and they've optimized the fun out of playing online. Like, instead of picking and playing the character that you want to play, everyone just plays 16 characters. There's only 16 characters that are competitive.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
you don't end up.
I think part of it is like, okay, I think part of it is for something to be fun online, there needs to be an unpredictable element. A game like League of Legends works because you don't know what your opponents are necessarily going to do. There's no such thing as a build order in that game. It is action and reaction. Whereas for an RTS, the first 5 minutes of that game is literally
The game.
written for you. You know, and if you don't follow it to a T, or you can try something new and novel, but it's a huge risk, and if your opponent finds out, you lose.
Yep.
So it's not fun.